Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Kasha Gage. Today I'm giving you a flip through of my 2025 December daily album. If you hadn't seen, I did do a starting place a few weeks back, if you're watching this in real time, and I stayed pretty close to it for the most part. However, it did get, you can see it's pretty thick, and I had to adjust plans or shift or pivot quite a bit just because of space. I did not personally want to go into 2 albums this year. So I'm just going to kind of dive in, go through, I'll share some stories or some thoughts along the way. And then, of course, please be sure to leave comments or any questions you have down below. Okay, so again, same thing, my reason why. This was fun doing it in the front. Normally I do it on my photos, as I've been opening with a photo. I think since 2020 is when I started opening with full page photos, and at least putting the reason why there allowed me to be able to do or optimize the full page photos. The table of contents, a little bit before December, adding some little bit of type journaling. I did think to myself at one point, man, I'm gonna have to pull out like a magnifying glass to read that. Even now, I'm like, I think I need to take that into consideration as aging eyes. All right, jumping right in here. Story 1 is all about the visit to Santa. She did so good. Olivia did so great this year with Santa. And afterwards, he even said to me, he goes, how old is she? And he goes, I usually have, usually when they're around that age, they have a really hard time. So he was very impressed with her. For me, how I do this is 25 stories. I do not worry about them being in chronological order or on the day that it happened. Some of them are maybe really close to that day, or in the case, like I took several different photos, throughout December or sometimes on the same day. And so those are sprinkled in where it fits the story or tells a story. All about Starbucks. Here's a little bit behind the scenes of me working. This was the last client session I had of 2025. I'm a photographer, if you do not know. And so that was great to be able to include my work story this year, where in the past I've usually done my husband and having him write it from his point of view. And actually this year I didn't invite any other voices. Well, technically my daughter's with her Santa letter, but other than that, I didn't. I actually had like a lot to say this year, a lot of words. And I think I'll say like that definitely helped, having a lot of words, or a lot of things to say, or journaling it. I know some people, there's not a right way or a wrong way, but I know some people prefer it to only be happy stories in their album, or only Christmas related stories in the album, or just all photos. Again, not a right way or a wrong way. I, at least at this time, have not been keeping a separate journal. So some of the things that were heavy on my heart, or I wanted to flesh out, it was very therapeutic, almost cathartic, like to get those words out of me. Same thing, if you do not know, I lost my mother. She passed away on Halloween. So this was December was very, very tender. More so the first half of the month, I just felt really raw. And I was struggling, to be fully honest. I'm doing okay. Grief is not easy. There's no timeline, but this project helped me, right? It helped me in some ways to connect to my past and be grateful for my present, and just even be in the present. So I'm so unbelievably grateful. And as I've shared, throughout the years, like, this might be my favorite album. Every year ends up being like a favorite album for that season I'm in. This one I think probably will always hold a little bit closer in my heart, because it's my first Christmas without my mom, because there were some very deeply personal stories or memories that I shared in this one. But same thing in my 2024 album, I have a card for my mom, a Christmas card, and her message in it, and like her handwriting, you could tell, it was her handwriting, but it wasn't, where she's struggling. So same thing like that. Anyway, all about our elf Bernard. He arrived this year. I had every intention of keeping the little notes and photographing that at the end or like after Christmas. Our elf got a little unmotivated and quit leaving notes or quit moving. It's okay. Olivia didn't seem to mind. She didn't seem, super interested, but here is some of what this looks like. I did photos of what was inspiring me. So just some things around here. Story 5, letter to my mother. I'm not going to share that. That one's pretty close, but that was, just even saying I wish I had 5 more minutes. A shaker here with all the holiday books I read. That's always fun. This is paper from Heidi Swap. I really liked the mix up of her collection this year. Just some of your non-traditional colors, right? Of like pink and the different shades of pinks. I really like that. And I leaned kind of heavy into it this year. And one, because it just felt fun. And I think I needed some fun or to find little touchstones of fun. If we really want to go there, I think there was probably wanting to step away from classic or traditional or anything. Maybe because that was also reminding me some of my past or how I did things or certain memories with my mom. So I just needed to mix things up. Book club Christmas we hosted, so that's always fun. This little elf was from Crepe Paper. Oh my gosh, you guys, I wish they would bring back some Crepe Paper designs. Absolutely love it. I have some of their, Hey Santa, maybe it's Mary, 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 that I've been hoarding for years because I thought it was cute and I just never found it. I used quite a bit of it this year. 7 Sons of Swimming, telling a story here. This was about one of what my mom considered her best Christmas memory, at least according to a Facebook post that she had written years and years back, because I went through like my emails to see what I had of her from writing, and I went to see what she had said maybe on Facebook or if there were certain photos. It was a nice way for me able to bring in some of her voice and then also like reflect on that specific Christmas where we drove Christmas to North Carolina for my sister. And that was good. There was this part of it that where I felt like the colors, it didn't look great in black and white. So I went with the color and I was really struggling with it. But then talk about like, I wasn't even thinking about this, but sometimes just how things work out, right? This is where we had stayed at the beach in North Carolina for this Christmas, and then I just happened to include my own photos of the beach, like at Christmas. I don't know. Felt like a full circle moment when I took a step back and realized that, if that makes sense. Anyway, so story 8 is all about a day at the beach and how I almost missed this. So my original thought was I was going to put 8 here, like thought it would be cool, because you have like the little openings anyway, but I flipped it. And I like that I flipped it. In hindsight, maybe I would have made this little triangle here bigger, but it's okay. I cut this out with my silhouette. It wasn't perfect cuts or 100% line up, but long form journaling. A lot of my journaling, I think all my journaling is typed this year. Just again, because that allowed me to fit more. Here, I'll do that later. Fit more on a piece of paper. Here for the magic, so in this season, using a prompt paper, just some snaps, stuff like that, what I'm working on, a lot of moments with Olivia, making gingerbread houses with her, and then these little wreath numbers, those are from my stash. If you're really curious, I'll have to look up. It was part of a sticker book for like planners. I would have to look at. So if you guys want to know where these came from, there's like a whole thing. I've used some of their different stickers from that Christmas one throughout the years, but I can always let you know, and maybe they still have something around. So even though I put journaling here, right, little pieces of the story, I also included a longer reflection of in this season and, some of what I'm making and creating and thinking about and what I want for next year, all of that. Story 10, a little moment about what I love with her. This I did, I think you guys might have seen, this got like really messed up and wonky because I used Epson Ultra Premium matte presentation paper. Oh my gosh, that's a mouthful. Say that 5 times fast. So I think I'd want to do this. This is embroidered, hand embroidered on, I don't know, thicker cardstock or something, but I wanted to be able to include it in here somehow. You'll notice also I'm not necessarily obsessed about the numbers. I haven't been for a few years, and I'm completely okay with that. Like, you get the flow, or I might not have numbers for a while, and then all of a sudden you'll see we're at story 12. So be it. My wrapping paper, originally planned for this to be a shaker, but because of space. So certain pages where it was like, I know I want this one to be a shaker, and maybe I can't do all of them. Like, sometimes for some of those, we'll set them aside and wait a little bit, if that makes sense. Gratitude, like including gratitude in my album, all about the advent calendar. This one came from Anthropology this year, and I was really excited to get it because I missed out last year. But I have to say, I was actually disappointed with it. I don't know if maybe I should have looked and spoiled the surprise to see what was included beforehand, but there was so much perfume, you guys. It was like 5 or 6 different types of perfume. And if I remember right, it's like only 2 face washes or like only 1 shampoo. And all I thought to myself, I do not need this many types of perfume. Yeah, I just put a star to denote the 13. I know Morgan Beale in the past had done something with an advent calendar where I think she cut up flaps and showed what was actually there for that day. I could have done that, or I originally thought about cutting along this like scallop and including pull-out journaling, and I probably would have said that I was actually disappointed in it, but it's fine. I felt like I'm okay. I don't need to tell more of it. 14 here is our Christmas card. So I loved including that. I had a lot of fun shooting these this year. It was at a different location, a greenhouse that's specific for photographers. Really cool space. That it was her first year doing it, and really love that. So again, some Heidi Swap paper. You guys might have seen this one on Instagram where I shared wanting to use these scallops. So on one side, they had like an outline and they were lined, like journal school lined, you know, from paper. I flipped them over, did embossing, and then added individual ornaments. I didn't feel, again, like it needed more additional journaling. I originally tried, I think it's Pink Neon from Ranger. When you first put the embossing powder on, it looks great, it's vibrant, but when you melt it, it's like so pale. It's not, I wouldn't consider it pink neon once it melts. Let me know if that's the same, because I know there's a lot of you guys who stamp. I just ended up using, I think this was a Versacolor Opera Pink, if I remember, and just got that vibrant pink that way. But I was really disappointed because I wanted to do like that pink embossing. Anyway, maybe there's a different color of theirs that you guys know that would give me that same effect. All about a light maze. This was a new experience for us too. It was giant light installations. You got to walk through the maze and stuff. So that was really fun for her, I think. You know, we try to be mindful of overstimulation with certain things like that, but that was a lot of fun. And this was part of it. So yeah, a little bit of lights. All about Christmas past, or looking at Christmas past, looking at photos. I ended up taking photos of a lot of past Christmases, or where I had photos of. And so like even this circa 85 to 19. So it started with 1985, my photos did. And that was the last one of my mom and I in 2019. So I will say one thing, you guys might already know this, but the 10x8 page protectors that actually fit this album, it's more like 10 1/4 by like 8 1/4. Oh my gosh, I was so mad because I had already printed this, foiled it, and then I went to cut it and slip it in the page protector, and then there was all this like extra space. So I will say, thankfully, I do have some Becky Higgins that are true 10x8, so I didn't have to do it again. I don't know if you're like that. I get kind of irritated with wasting, so I didn't want to have to do that again. All right, so here we go, 18. This is a letter to my daughter. So kind of like that I have a letter to my mother, a letter to my daughter. I think that's both. Letter to Santa. I really screwed up the scissoring on this, but I had already stitched this side. So I just let it be, right? Just let some things be what you're good enough, right? So her little letter to Santa, thought that was cute. Just took a photo of that because we did mail it out. Documenting some highs and lows. So my journaling, I use sticker paper on there. And then we get into another light experience. So did a boat cruise, and then also boat cruise in Huntington Harbor, and then the boat parade in Newport Beach. So that was fun. A couple nights back to back. There's this one, so if you guys are unfamiliar, Newport Beach with their boat parade, how they do it is if you want to participate, you have to commit to participating all the nights. Now I can't remember if it was 3 or 5 nights, but you don't know which night you're going to be judged on. And your boat has to be completely decorated. And there was this one, it was so all decked out for Wicked. Well, this is Wizard of Oz / Wicked. So that one was super cool. I really hope they win. I don't remember when they announced their winners. It's sometime here in January. But so this is where an instance, right? It happened one night, happened another night. I just combine it for one story. 22 is all about the zoo. I think I might have to end up gluing some of this down, like the back image or something, because these staples do not feel very secure. I took it apart, restapled. There's a couple of zoo pics in there. It was Olivia's first trip to the San Diego Zoo. So in hindsight, I don't know if I actually would have used the matchbook again, knowing that it just doesn't feel, I mean, because especially when you flip it out, it creates these creases. It is what it is. All aboard, right? We took the train down to Old Town San Diego and met up with family and had a fun day down there. And then we're into Christmas Eve. So low-key Christmas Eve, lots of great food, some champagne. My in-laws were here, or they still are actually, we're visiting. And then my stepdad was here as well. So that was nice to have family. And night before Christmas Eve. This was a fun one, reading to her in the little tent. And then that leads us into Christmas. So same thing. Originally this year, like talk about changing plans, right? I originally planned to have a shaker, like a cutout full shaker. And that just, it was becoming too much. And then with the photos and anyway, sometimes you just have to pivot. So all my journaling is here, right? Some long form journaling, a couple different photos of Olivia, and then all the photos from Christmas Day, or just, Christmas morning, Christmas afternoon, that type of thing. So this was a great way just to include more photos. And then we end with a goodbye 25, hello 26. So that's a look at my album. I had a lot of fun this year. I will say, being that having my in-laws here, so there was lots of stuff continuously going on, activities, things like that. Having a toddler and sometimes only having small pockets of small pockets of time, there we go, to work on this. Sometimes I definitely felt frantic, I will say that. And it was like I had to work on this story and I was in the middle of this story, and it was kind of like a do what you can when you can type of thing. But like batch editing my photos, which is usually part of my process anyways, and batching journaling and printing, like all of that made it easier. So when I came to my table, I could just work on it. Like when I was here to specifically work on December Daily, I could work on December Daily because the photos were already edited, the journaling was already written and formatted, or even a lot of these design decisions had already been done before. Not sure if you guys approach it that way. If not, maybe give it a try. Of course, I would love to hear how you approach it if you guys have finished it. And then let me know your plans for 2026. So I will still be here scrapbooking, telling stories, taking photos. I did do a lot of projects last year, far more than I actually have realized. I'm not sure if I'm going to be sharing. If I do, I will keep you guys posted and let you know. All right, everybody, I'm wishing you the best. Hope you have a great 2026, and until next time, take care.